Welcome to the Search for Wellness podcast, where we embark on inspiring conversations to explore the many facets of health and well-being. I'm your host, Pooja, a certified fitness instructor, the co-owner of Beyond Body Fitness Studios. I'm also a qualified health coach, breath coach, and proud to say, a cancer coach. My personal journey towards wellness took a profound turn when I faced a cancer diagnosis 2 years ago. Despite leading a relatively healthy lifestyle, I realized that my understanding of well-being was limited at that time. This unexpected challenge ignited my quest for knowledge and a deep desire to restore balance and harmony into my body and life. Now, I'm here to share the wisdom and insights I've gained, because what's the point of all this knowledge if I can't share it? In today's fast-paced and stressful world, prioritizing our physical, mental, and emotional well-being is more critical than ever. This podcast aims to delve into a wide range of wellness aspects, from longevity, fitness, and supplements, to alternative practices like homeopathy, acupuncture, and sound therapy, as well as nutrition, diet, and innovative therapies. Through this platform, I'm committed to helping you make simple and sustainable changes that seamlessly fit into your daily life, empowering you to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Let's embark on this inspiring journey together and meet our special guest today. Megan is the co-founder of 254 Brewing Co, Booch and Grounded. She is a manufacturing professional and wellness nerd that has been building businesses in East Africa since 2012. She founded Grounded in 2016 after a long personal wellness journey, including study of yoga, Ayurveda, and traditional Chinese medicine. Grounded's mission is to become the trusted brand for natural products powered by Africa. Grounded is committed to providing customers with the highest quality of natural cleaning products that are good for the humans and for the planet. Thank you, Megan, for making this time to be here, and welcome. This is our second episode, and I am so excited to have you here. I think my personal introduction to you was, I think, a year and a half ago, maybe, or I can't even remember exactly. And I was blown away by you. Literally, that was the first time I met you. And I was absolutely blown away and inspired by what you shared that day when we had that toxic talk, and your journey and just your energy. Like, you know, I'm really big believer in how energies match, frequencies of people need to match. And I felt this connection to you almost immediately. And I'm hoping you felt the same thing to me.
Absolutely.
So welcome today. I'd like you to just start by introducing yourself. Where are you from, your past history, your family, whatever you would like to just share.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for starting this important forum. I am from California originally. I grew up as an expat kid. I grew up in Hong Kong and Singapore, started my career in China, which led me into the manufacturing career. Fast forward a couple of years, we found an opportunity for both adventure and manufacturing, and that was here in Kenya. So we've been here now, 11, 12 years. 2 children were born here, and we just can't imagine a better place to live. The government is making things a little bit difficult right now. But,
oh gosh. Yeah.
No. I mean, we love Kenya so deeply. And our recent business adventures have been also trying to think about how we can give back to Kenya. As a manufacturer, we think a lot about how do we add value to things that exist, that grow, and there's no better continent to play that game than here. Kenya grows absolutely everything of such incredible value, and we often just ship all those raw materials away. So part of what we're doing with our business is how can we take all of that beautiful raw material from nature and add value to it with products and services that people need.
Yeah, that's amazing. And putting it back into the community, you know, creating that awareness around it also, which is so important. So would you call Kenya home?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Much to the dismay of my mother, who lives in Hawaii, which is on the other side of the planet.
Literally, yeah.
Grounded, I run it with my sister. So there is a family element here in Nairobi, which is wonderful. Wow. And then 254 is my husband's venture as well. So I've got all family business.
And it's all passion, you know, it's all run with passion. It's all run with purpose also.
And definitely, like when we were starting these businesses, it was a little bit because we wanted to see these products in Nairobi, and we think Nairobi deserves it. Deserves better beer, right? It deserves kombucha that is accessible.
Yeah.
And it deserves an alternative to some nasties in the cleaning products that are broadly available.
Yeah, and it also deserves some awareness around it. And this is why we're here today, right?
And this is a really important step for us because, frankly, when we were starting the company, we were worried about overwhelming people with the downside, the scary facts. Like, we don't want to scare people.
Yeah.
We wanted to create like kind of a nice brand, a nice feeling around the brand, as opposed to, if you don't do this, you're going to get allergies and asthma and other negative externalities. So I'm really much looking forward to this opportunity, kind of 5-6 years into the grounded journey. People are ready, I think, now to be learning more about why.
Yeah, why? Exactly. And there should always be that why. Why am I doing this? Why am I buying this? Why I have to pay more for something that is good for me? And as a customer, it's important you ask that why question. Oftentimes you go to the doctor. We don't even ask the doctor why. Why are you doing this to me? And almost most times, if you are in the hospital or visiting the doctor and you ask them why, they almost look at you like puzzled, like, how dare you even ask me why? I'm like, but I would like to know why you are doing this to me, right?
Well, and I think, we both have had interactions with Western medicine that have not been very fulfilling.
Yes.
And that approach of treating as opposed to preventing, right, is such a powerful step in someone's own wellness journey. And understanding, how do we prevent sickness? Because when you're on the flip side, it is a struggle. And I was fortunate enough to be exposed to Chinese medicine as a kid. And when you're little and you smell all these weird smells and you're seeing people with these big like cupping marks on their back and the acupuncture, it looks so crazy, right? But yes, as I got older, it was like 100%. The amount of healing that is doing at a deep level, protecting you, fortifying your body for all of the things that it's exposed to in the outside world is just such a powerful thing to have access to. So in China, that is so accessible, that kind of medicine treatment. In Kenya, it's not so much, right? Though we do have Ayurveda kind of tradition here, and the Ayurveda and the spices and kind of the availability of some of those things is fantastic. But then on the flip side, there are a lot of nasties in our environment and in our air and in our cleaning products.
Exactly.
That can undermine all the good stuff you're doing.
Exactly. Totally.
So what we've seen is, we've got the rise of organic food, right? And people are concerned about what they're putting in their bodies, and we think that's incredible, so important. Subsequently, we kind of saw in Nairobi the rise of organic beauty, sort of a sense of, okay, what I'm putting on my skin is important.
Exactly.
And we want that to be better for us. And where grounded comes in is food and beauty are really sexy. There's a very unsexy part of this pie.
But it's as important, if not more, even. So my first question to you, and I was telling you earlier that this is a little bit of a surprise question that I wanted to ask you, is what was the 8-year-old Megan like? What were some of her dreams? What brought her the most happiness at that age?
8-year-old me. Okay, so my daughter just turned 9, so we've actually been talking about this a lot. 8-year-old me was very athletic. I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and so I was in the gym 12 hours a week probably. And that taught an incredible amount of self-awareness, body awareness. Incredible amount of muscles, basically, as an 8-year-old, which gives you a lot of confidence. So definitely, like, I was disciplined about that athletic, practice. On the flip side, I was very nerdy. I really enjoyed school. I really enjoyed math. I had fantastic teachers. At this point, I'm living in suburban Chicago, in kind of this idyllic American suburb. Like long summer nights and riding bikes to the pool and just running across the backyard to my best friend's house. And so it was definitely carefree, right? Carefree, but then I had this edge. Like, I wanted the discipline and I wanted to exceed expectations, which is maybe firstborn daughter, type A syndrome all around. But some of those traits are still very much part of my life now. Like, I practice Ashtanga yoga that's very body-centric, and I'm still ambitious. I still use a lot of math also.
Really?
So I'm an accidental accountant in the businesses. So a lot of math.
And I think it's important to figure out what was the thing you did when you were 8. And it brought you such satisfaction and such joy. And are you still doing that? Or maybe, exactly what you're saying is your body enjoyed being in that robust type of exercise, that type of movement. And if you're still doing it, that means your body still enjoys it. Your body's still asking you to do those exercises. I think for me, I remember being a kid, I absolutely loved riding my bicycle. Riding my bicycle was like my zen. It was my joy. I rode my bicycle to school. My mom dropped my sister in the car and I rode my bicycle to school. And then me and my best friend, we would ride our bicycles to the club. I lived in Kisumu, Nyanza Club. We'd go play squash, do whatever. And then I'd ride my bicycle back home. So it's a small town growing up, it was really safe for us to ride our bicycles. And it brought me so much joy. And obviously with time, I stopped doing that. And then COVID hit and we decided to buy ourselves bicycles. And both me and my husband, we live in a gated community and we started riding our bicycles. And it brought me so much joy again. And I was like, oh my God, there we go. There's my 8-year-old child bursting out with joy. And now going to the forest, going to Karura and riding my bicycle in Karura. I take the kids. The kids love it and I want to see the same joy, although I'm not seeing it yet, on their face because they're like, how long to go, mommy? This is too long. This is too tiring. But I mean, I could spend like maybe 2-3 hours just riding my bicycle in Karura, but they're like 20 minutes and they're like, are we done now? Can we go home now? But even then, it's just that joy and that satisfaction that gave me was just amazing.
That's a fun question because we moved from the States to Hong Kong when I was like 9. So the 8 for me was like a really interesting snapshot of kind of before the world opened up to me. So that's a fun question. I'm going to think about that more.
Yeah, I think so. It's a really good one, right? Okay, so we're going to go into talking about why you created Grounded. Yeah.
Yeah, so thankfully, having been exposed to some of these traditional health practices, I just got real nerdy about it, to be honest, right? So I was learning a lot about Chinese medicine. I was learning Ayurveda yoga, and I was just looking at all these different ways that we can be healthy. And there's lots of different ways to be healthy. And also probably in our lifetime and like our parents' generation, the rise of like health news, like margarine's good for you, margarine's bad for you, eggs are good for you, there's a lot of like attention and confusion, right? Around what is actually good for us. So for me, it was really like grounding to go back to some of these traditions and be like, what do those guys think? They've been around for 5,000 years, those Chinese, like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And one of the things I really like about both kind of an Ayurveda tradition and a Chinese medicine tradition is it's like a lot of those elements of good medicinal practices worked into daily life. It's not something you do separate, right? The way you eat, right? In China, whether you drink ice water, while you're trying to digest your food is a big no-no. It's all these tiny little things that are related to how do we support the overall health of our body. So it started with that kind of exposure. And then I just started thinking about my own life, right? And what are the fundamentals healthy fundamentals I can create for myself and my family? And this is things like the air we breathe, the water that we drink, it is how we move our bodies. It's how we sleep. It's what we put on our skin. Definitely what we eat. But even in addition to what we eat, it's how we cook it, right? I mean, so like any of these little elements of this wellness wheel, this fundamental wellness, there are these very practical habits that you can work into your daily life. And I just really like that. I mean, I was never good at going to the gym as a separate activity, but if I'm like, okay, I can work this into like these routines in my life, it really feels good. And then you habit stack, right? You start building routines on routines.
Exactly.
Before you know it, you're body brushing and flossing your nose and yogi, and you're like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But
I love how you put it, flossing your nose. I've never heard that term used
I'll
for
show
it.
it to you one time. It's
Jalneti, right?
Yeah.
So, but the way you said flossing your nose, so it's like.
Well, there's Jalneti, and then I got onto what's called Sutraneti, which is literally it's a rubber tube.
Oh yeah, it's the rubber tube. Yes, I've seen it. All right.
So even my husband and my kids are like, I'm sorry, that still happens every day.
Oh wow.
Still do that. But it's great for me because I actually did used to have allergies. So this is another part of my health journey, is that I was in college drinking some pretty crap beer, eating a lot of cereal whenever I wanted,
like
fast food,
Yeah.
And I suddenly got hay fever. Like every morning I would wake up and just be sneezing. And that was leaky gut, right? Which we talk a lot about kind of in the wellness world. Is like you do start to just really create irritation, right, through your gut lining because you've been not nice to it. And so kind of through my couple of wellness practices managed to cure the daily snot situation, heal my gut. And from there, I kind of feel like, okay, I'm kind of stable, right? My body's kind of in a good spot. Then I had kids. That's we all kind of, when we have kids, we kind of reevaluate some things.
Yeah.
And there was a big part of me that, in seeing these little kids that are like licking the floor and their clothes are all smelly, and I'm just like, I'm not so sure about this, right? So that's when I did just so much research. And this element of bringing chemicals into our home. People think outside is dirty. Outside is burning trash. Outside is matatu smoke. Outside is all these things, but home is my sanctuary.
Yeah, it's the space we can control.
And it's the space that we can control.
Yeah.
Now, if our homes are sanctuary, we think we're doing a good job controlling, then we're still using the locally available, widely available cleaning products. Our body is actually burdened constantly, frankly, by all of this. So the cleaning chemicals and fragrance can stay in the air. So indoor air quality studies have been shocking. Using the products, when you're actively using the products, using bleach regularly, if you're a professional cleaner using bleach, it's like smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. But then the other element that really kind of sat with me is when you sleep, right? So whatever we're active brain, thinking about what we're doing in the day, if they're active hours. When I sleep, I'm healing, I'm recovering. But if you're sleeping on a phthalate covered mattress,
exactly,
right, sheets, and your mattress itself is like off-gassing powders and weird stuff, your body just cannot rest. So it cannot heal from the matatu smoke, and it cannot heal from, whatever, you had Burger King one day, whatever, it can't heal from those things. But our body's so incredibly resilient and powerful. And so that's also where grounded comes from. Is like we can empower ourselves, right? To say, I don't want those chemicals in my life. I don't want those toxins in my life.
I have a choice.
And then empowering yourself the understanding of what am I choosing to be exposed to? So because we have a beer company, I'm quite fond of drinking. Okay? So I'm not like I'm not a teetotal. I'm not like a holier than thou
and
a wellness person. And no one should be.
Yeah.
254 is the best healthiest beer in the market. Just we don't pasteurize, we don't add additives. But anyway, so I do like to drink beer. But I choose that I choose that experience. Right? And that's all this other sneaky stuff. And it's the sneaky stuff that creeps up on us and surprises us. So it's all about how do we add value to locally grown things? How do we create alternatives for people here? And how do we just provide an experience with a product that helps kind of unlock maybe someone's next level of wellness thinking?
Exactly. And it's not about what you do once in a while that matters. It's about what you do daily that matters. It's about what you're putting into your body and into your environment daily. And we can control the physical. There's a lot of it that we can control. There's many things that we can't control. And what is not in our control, we have to just let that go. But what is in our control, we should be able to control it. We should be able to empower ourselves with that knowledge and that information to be able to create a better, healthy environment to grow our children in, right? Like the flame retardant on the mattress or on your furniture. Every single furniture item that is purchased today, every single furniture item, literally, and even your mattress, they say, oh, it's fireproof. We've put this spray, it's called a flame retardant. Your curtains, your carpets, they put all this stuff in it. However, first of all, it doesn't even guarantee that it's not going to get on fire. It's put there to protect you for a limited amount of time before it does set on fire. So it would have set on fire a lot quicker had they not put the flame retardant there. However, because they put the flame retardant there, you have enough time to run away. But the chances of your mattress and your house and all of that catching on fire today are so low that it is so unnecessary to do that. But most people aren't even aware that this is happening. And that is off-gassing while you sleep, while your body's healing, while every single organ in your body needs that break. It's working even harder because you're sleeping on this flame retardant and it's just off-gassing constantly. Your baby's sleeping on it. I mean, the baby sleeping bags.
Well, exactly. This is such a good example.
Yeah.
Because we think about this in the cleaning industry as well, is, let's say, 1950s, we started creating things that were supposed to be better for us, right? Flame retardant hits some heartstrings.
Yeah.
Right? Serious fire, serious flammability of life, probably in the 50s, 60s, 70s, right? We are living now in a different era.
Exactly.
And we're carrying some chemicals, frankly, that we created in the 50s and 60s that we thought were good for us. We thought this is going to be better for us. And we just got very good at creating chemicals.
Yeah.
And very good at testing those chemicals for efficacy. And where we come in is like, where is the study of longevity of impact on humans and on the environment?
Yeah.
And both of those things, like, they're so important. When you have unregulated industry like cleaning, like literally there's so little regulation around it. There's no disclosure requirements. So if consumers can't even inform themselves of what's in the product.
You don't even need to write the ingredients, the full set of ingredients. Fragrances, just that word can have up to 50 things that are hidden there that you don't have to share.
Yeah. And then even other stuff. So the fragrances is definitely a big nasty, and I know we could talk about that for ages. But there's other little sneaky things like stabilizers, formaldehydes, and there's just loads of stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's never going to be on a label.
Yeah.
And so when Grounded comes along and we disclose all of our ingredients, so if I got business owner friends that are like, Megan, someone's going to rip that off, someone's going to copy you because you're telling everyone your recipe.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. That is like my service.
Exactly.
Right? To sort of the industry decided,
please share, learn, understand it.
You deserve this information. You deserve to know that there's no hidden stuff in here.
Yeah.
And so we're proud to be playing, that role, and we're proud to see so many other companies kind of coming along on that journey of we choose. We're not required to do this. We choose. To inform people.
And I think it's important. Like for me, after everything that I went through, my journey, I started to empower myself with knowledge. And this is where I, got introduced to Grounded, and I was like, okay, wait, what is this? And I think it was Green Spoon is where you started selling, one of the first places you started selling. And when I saw it on Green Spoon, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this. And then I was like, no, wait, I can't believe this. Your ingredients is listed on it. It works exactly the same way as all the other cleaning products. Why are we not just replacing and buying this instead? It doesn't have the nasty smells. It doesn't go into the environment and injure the environment, injure the planet. Why are we not using this more, right? So my next question to you is, what has been your biggest challenge in setting up Grounded?
Yes, so there's a personal challenge, which is we were kind of starting businesses. We just accidentally started 3. It was like because we were motivated, we thought we had something to offer. So we had 3 kind of baby businesses and 2 small children. And so that was just a challenging couple of years. Again, ambitious 8-year-old thought like, this is going to work. So frankly, I'm just like the last year, my son turned 5, about to turn 6. So like in the past year, I started to reclaim a little bit of my sanity, my power, my grounding, and also see the future for these little business babies. But it's definitely doing a lot at once when the mothering is happening. And that's a special time.
It is
incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And you put like, I can do it. I can still do it. I can do all these things. And we did it, right? But then I kind of got when I was 5. I'm like, oof, okay, he's a little bit, he can live, he's alive now, right?
Yeah.
Now it's kind of got to come back to myself a little bit. So that was a personal challenge for sure. Raising money is also very interesting. So we self-funded our businesses for a little bit, but definitely the scale of the operation was such that we don't have those kind of resources ourselves. So going out and raising money this is not a business podcast. We can talk about it later, but it's challenging. It's a challenging prospect. And when I was going around to Nairobi-based investors with a sort of a premium product positioning, people were just like, this is not going to work. This is never going to work. And it's a challenge to be kind of getting that rejection of like this idea that you have about providing this product that has a small market now. And I'm trying to say Nairobi is growing. Nairobi is definitely will be wanting this, demanding this. Not only do we deserve it, but in the last 5 years, those hypotheses about growing middle class, growing attention to health and wellness, increasing just allocation of personal spending towards better food, better products. We've seen all of that happen. So that's a challenge that I like to be like, hey guys, remember when you didn't want to invest?
Yeah,
right.
And now you're like,
it's working.
It's working. No, I mean, I see Grounded in all the supermarkets now, every single shelf of the supermarket. And now I just go to the supermarket and buy it. I don't have to order it online anymore. If I need it quickly, I go to the supermarket and buy it. It's also really important to create this awareness with not only the people who can afford Grounded, but I think it's also a way to create this awareness with even the locals so that they are aware that I'm putting this in my house because I need my house to be clean, but is it really serving me? Is it really helping?
No, and just to add on to that, like a big part of Grounded's passion is, women's health. Okay, so the cleaning industry, cleaning products are predominantly used by women. We have a disproportionate health burden because of our cleaning work. Now, I say that pointing at myself. I live in Nairobi. I have a full-time job. I do have someone that helps me at home. And I'm thinking about her, right? Whatever about the stuff that lingers in my hair and my clothes. I'm like, you are using these products all the time. You deserve for your nails to not fall out, right? Which is definitely a story I heard in early product development.
Wow.
So taking care of women all around, as well as taking care of our children.
That's amazing. Wow. So, Megan, I want to go a little bit more deeper into the use of cleaning products again. And I remember that we've tapped into this before and you have mentioned this, and it really, really jazzed me when you mentioned this, because the fact that, yes, cleaning our house and all of that, and washing our clothes, and that's all the we think about all of those toxins going into our bodies and into our environment. But what about the planet? And what about the bioaccumulation of all this on the environment? What happens there?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Where I live in Lavington, I drive, James Couture often, and there's a river that runs under the road, and that river on the weekends is just foaming. And I was like, rivers shouldn't foam. That's not normal. And so that led me down on this backside of doing human health research around Grounded and cleaning products. I was also doing the environmental research. And even in places where wastewater is treated, even 100% of wastewater is treated, there are still forever chemicals that get through that treatment. So what we have in our part of the world is, sure, maybe some water is treated, definitely a lot of it is not. So not only do we have forever chemicals extra present in our cleaning products, when all of that wastewater goes into our environment, it's going to stay there, and it goes into the soil. It goes into, obviously, the water that kind of takes it everywhere else. Fish, animals, food. Yes. So all of this does end up, really degrading our soil quality, because you have basically disinfectants in our soil, where our soil is supposed to help create our biome. Our soil is supposed to be that source of all that good stuff that we need to kind of sustain our whole body function, which is why smart people like yourself RO water and then add back in minerals. And one of the reasons our soil is degrading is because of pesticides, for sure. Yes. But also because of cleaning products. So that was a big moment for us. And just realizing the contextual differences. Like, developing world is always going to have more chemicals dumped on it, less regulation, and frankly, less ability to protect the environment from waste. So that was a big one for us. Yeah, like learning about that side of it. Couple years into Grounded, we got an inquiry from an eco lodge in the Masai Mara. They had a head of sustainability, and they're like, hey, you see you're doing non-toxic cleaning. We really want to swap out the stuff. So they invite us down to go for a business trip. It turns out to be Cotter's camp, which is one of the most beautiful
Wow.
and impressive camps run by some of the best environmentalists and stewards of natural environments. So we were just so fortunate to be able to learn from them. But being in those camp settings, these are places that we are trying so hard to preserve. The whole world cares about elephants and lions and all this stuff. And I'm okay. Where does your wastewater go?
Yeah.
And it's just going into that watering hole where the elephants.
And they're drinking that. Yeah. Oh my.
So that's a big passion of ours and a big business stream for us now is how do we equip these eco lodges with kind of newer approaches to the fundamentals like cleaning.
Yeah.
And so we get to feel that, right? And feel that in our bones, in our soul, right? Is that we are doing this good. We are definitely helping in the protection of our beautiful natural environments. In addition, hopefully we're reducing kind of the city waste and then reducing the toxins in the wastewater.
And you know, it's so funny when you say this, it's like you would never even think about it, right? You would never even like a normal mundane person be like, okay, I'm washing my clothes, but I have no, I don't even realize where that water is going, what it's going to be doing. Is it going to be cycling back? Is it going to be coming back into my drinking water? And I'm going to be drinking that same bleach that I put on my toilet the other day and I flushed it down with. You know, it's like we don't even realize the consequences of all of this on the entire environment, on the planet, on all of the ecosystem of planet Earth. It's crazy, right?
And when we think about our borehole water sources, right? I mean, obviously you grew up here, but like for me, like well water is kind of like, oh wow, look at what's going on with well water. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, but what's in there and what's feeding into that well? And in times of drought, we have very different quality of water coming out.
Yes, exactly.
It's not great.
It's not great.
It's
Exactly.
not great. Yeah.
And you know, you mentioned the soil. Now the thing is, soil quality also is people are, like a lot of people will ask me. I take a lot of supplements and I supplement a lot, and I keep encouraging people that look, you know, it's really important to start supplementing with good nutrients. We used to get them from our soil, not from you don't get your nutrients from your fruit and your vegetable. Your fruit and vegetable gets the nutrients from the soil. Now, if the soil is tarnished, there is no nutrients left there. There is no minerals left there. There is none of that left there. So whatever is coming out, 20, 30 years ago, an orange would give you the amount of vitamin C that you require. Now you would probably need to eat about 10 or 15 oranges to get that exact same amount of vitamin C. Right? And that is just because of the amount of pesticides, the amount of rubbish that is being thrown out into the environment, that is being put into the water. It's all a cycle. Most people don't understand that this whole thing is just a vicious cycle. You need to break out of this vicious cycle. You need to create this awareness. You need to realize that, okay, is this what I'm doing today going to impact my child in 5 or 10 years' time? How is the planet going to look in 5 or 10 years' time? Is that avocado that my child is eating full of the nutrients that the avocado I ate when I was a child? You know, it's all different.
And we have such a unique kind of position in this part of the world where we are going to feed the world.
Exactly.
Right? And there's a lot of pressure, right, on the big farms and on small shareholder farmers as well. And the pressure to produce. I just, no, I think about that a lot. And yeah, how do we create resilience in our children, in ourselves?
Yeah.
And that's also a lot of what all of this wellness thinking kind of is around it. So whatever we're doing now, right, it's helping build resilience to what's going to happen in the future. I mean, unfortunately, kind of in our line of thinking, it's not like things are going to get better?
We're hoping. We're trying. Maybe we can make a difference, right?
That's what we're doing now. One podcast at a time.
Exactly, one podcast at a time. So what's next for Grounded and for Booch and 254?
Yeah. For 254, we started a bar in Westlands, and that has been just an incredible adventure. We're very passionate about supporting Kenyan musicians, artists. And so building that brand as kind of Kenyan creative scene is also really growing, is incredibly fun. On Booch, we brought in a majority shareholder, which has been fantastic because there's a lot more capital behind the company.
Amazing.
And we just realized there was double the demand for Booch that we thought. So we've just doubled. So that's great. I'm really happy to see that. I'm also always happy to see home kombucha brewers. I think it's very tasty. Home Booch is where we started.
It always starts there, right? And everything that starts at home, right?
Just took over our house. And then for grounded, we're at a very exciting kind of moment because we have proof of concept. Between Kenya, we're doing a little bit of export to Rwanda, South Sudan, Uganda. We have a proof of concept both in the selling to household families and also selling to eco lodges. And so we're just in a strategic planning moment of like, can we take over the continent? Can we be the preferred supplier of eco cleaning products to eco lodges? And that just amplifies the benefits that we can create in Kenya. It's still our Kenyan supply chain. It's still using Kenyan engineering to add value to those products. It's still an African-born brand. And how do we level up, basically? How do we share what we're doing, which is still pretty unique in the world, and that's been also a recent realization.
Yeah.
There's loads of non-toxic cleaning product companies around the world, right? But what we're able to do here is still, frankly, globally unique, and that's like an incredible spot to be in. So it's basically growth. It's big time growth. It's getting deep with our supply chain, canola, sunflower, coconut farmers, really building up capacity. Getting more into essential oils, locally made essential oils, which is our fragrance elements.
That's amazing.
And that scene is definitely growing. Farmers are really understanding the incredible value add you can do. When you grow a bunch of rosemary and you turn it into essential oil, turns out everyone wants it for hair growth products and various other things. So that value add is incredible. So we're looking at definitely essential oils as well. And then there's this one thing I've been struggling with, which is personal care. So people are asking us for shampoos and conditioners and stuff like that. And
I mean, you do a like a sort of a baby brand, don't you, at the moment?
Yes,
right.
So we have like a foaming body wash, which is good. I mean, it's great. It gets the job done, for sure. For me, I've always been a little bit like personal care is a bit, like I said, sexy, and cleaning is kind of unsexy. So I got to figure out it's a different product development. It's a different kind of customer to be satisfying, but it's also still a really significant opportunity for us. And if people are asking for it, I hear them. And if anything, my fault is I make too many products. I listen too much to customers because right now we do have like 35 different cleaning products to clean like anything in your home.
I probably own all of them.
So thinking about product extensions and thinking about exports and thinking about just growing what we do in Kenya for those opportunities.
And that's amazing. I'm so grateful to Grounded because had it not been for Grounded, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be importing in all of my cleaning products or something because obviously I empowered myself with all this knowledge and I was like, okay, wait, what am I cleaning my house with? What am I cleaning my toilet with? Okay, this is the place that my kid crawls around. This is the place where I walk around barefoot. I spend most of my time. What am I washing my dishes with? All of this stuff. We have to be so mindful about all of this because it's still chemicals. If you're not going to eat it, don't put it anywhere on your skin. Don't put it anywhere around your food products, even in your cleaning. Don't wash your clothes with chemicals, bleach. Come on, and it's like, oh, but I know, well, what am I going to take to remove stains out of my clothes? And I'm like, soda bicarbonate. It's like my magic weapon. It's like, anywhere I go now, soda bicarbonate. It's like, here we go, use some soda bicarbonate for everything. And but that's amazing. And I'm so grateful to Grounded for all of its products. How are you feeling?
So good. I'm so happy to have had this relationship with you over the last year or so and just seeing this wellness community growing. And so being able to, like I said, talk about the why we do is so important. And I think there's appetite there for that understanding. And we're just so delighted to deploy all of our nerdery, and how can we help educate people as well. And it's part to sell products, of course. I do have to make a living out of this, but the reason that people buy products is because they believe that it's better for them and better for the planet. And we take that trust very seriously. Yeah. So these opportunities to talk about all the nerdy whys, right? Yeah. Are just important. So important for us.
And would you say that, building a company like Grounded, it's like fulfilling your purpose?
Definitely a lot of purpose. I just think it's so fundamental. It's so fundamentally good. Yes, there's so fundamentally good. And we also take that very seriously. And so we're talking about how do we dispose of all of organic waste? Okay, we're going to send it to InsectaPro. They're going to feed Black Soldier Fly that goes into healthier feed for animals.
Amazing.
Right? But that's easy because we can do that in Kenya now. So yes. Plastic recycling. incredibly straightforward in Kenya now, and we have a great relationship with our plastic producer and the recycling agent, Mr. in Africa. So any of the packaging that we get returned to us that we cannot reuse, we know it goes into a recycler, and then we know our plastic guy buys.
Amazing.
Only 100% post-consumer recycled plastic. So trying to get as much loops, closed loop chains as we can. Glass bottles, we buy locally, get them back to us, we reuse them. So again, just like being intentional and purposeful about every aspect of our business, because I think our customers deserve that, and frankly, they should demand it, you know? Like we can't make good non-toxic cleaning products and have like a toxic factory, right? I mean, so it is just so purposeful.
It's a full 360 basically. You have to be a full 360. And you know what the thing is, that's the other thing that people would have not been aware of had you not even mentioned it right now, is that it's a full 360. It's not just about making the non-toxic product and then putting it on the shelf and selling it to you, but you're even concerned and aware of the fact that, okay, what are we going to do with the waste product from this? What are we going to do with the plastic from this? What are we going to do with the glass from this? And that is what is, that is all full of purpose. That is full of that whole 360 of awareness creating. I think that's amazing. Wow. And that's so inspirational. So what is the most memorable moment in your career so far?
Being on this podcast.
I absolutely love that.
If I was to pick a second one, it would be when Grounded moved into its current factory. Because we started in my SQ in 2017. And so it was like Booch in one little corner and Grounded in the other.
Trying not to mix them.
And shipping products unloaded out of Lavington. So going from an SQ to a smaller kind of facility to moving into like a 6,000 square foot go down.
Yeah.
We did that about a year and a half ago, and it just feels so good.
Amazing.
I have the space to grow, and it really helped my team to understand the scale that I was talking about, right? Because when you're in the SQ, you're like, really? This is going to go places?
Yeah.
So that just really like tied together the vision, the potential, the scale, and it just gave us one way to grow. And that's.
Did you see yourself growing this big and this fast?
I mean, of course I would have hoped. I would have definitely hoped. And look, I'm not out of the water yet. Still have to do a little bit of fundraising and sort of this growth to get the business to really the right level. But the success that we've had to date, yes, I'm delighted. I am surprised that we've been able to handle things like COVID and all the various shocks, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, my kids are very proud of it too. My kids are like wrapping around the Booch, with beer sometimes, which is funny. But yeah, so creating that community, right, and feeling like you're providing a service, not only a product but also a service, to a city that I love, that I think is just ready to get onto the world stage in the right way.
I agree.
We're probably on the stage in the wrong way at the moment with all our taxes and various other things. But
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all relative at the end, right? In terms of wellness, what do you think would be where you see the world go in 10 years' time? Or what do you hope it'll look like in 10 years' time?
I definitely hope for more regulation. And that's what's kind of interesting and possible. I mean, of course, we kind of maybe look at Europe and like, oh my gosh, there's just like reams of pages of regulation, right? But how can we, especially for this continent, create accessible regulation? How can we protect ourselves through a regulatory framework? And it doesn't have to be super complicated, but I think we should look to that, because that is still such a big defense line. And it's a time for leadership to say, we don't want these things in our country, right? So every now and then, we have these conversations with government. Should we allow secondhand clothes in? Should we allow old cars in? All this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And I just think that's going to be a really big part of conversation is whatever we let into our homes? What do we let into our country? And so I really hope that. I hope for that, because that helps create. People don't have to be aware. They don't have to have had a medical event that causes them to think this way. It is just the habit. It is the standard. It's the default.
Exactly.
We all deserve that default.
No, you're right. Like I want my kids to grow up knowing that, yes, eating a packet of sweets is not really healthy and it's not normal. Eating a fruit is healthy. but making sure that it's sourced from the right place and that it's organic, or that it has, it's clean, and it's, that a fruit could also still be toxic if it's not sourced from the right place. I want my kids to grow up with that awareness of, and I'm hoping that in 10 years' time that everyone grows up with that kind of awareness that, okay, what is good? What am I putting into my body? Is this good for me? Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? I think that's so important.
And what I love about that is that also we do need to cultivate an awareness of what's going on in our bodies. And we are incredibly intuitive, and we can be so connected to our bodies. And there are cues, right? There are cues when their body's not liking something. And frankly, I just will say skin conditions is usually the first thing that we see in our line of work.
Exactly. Your skin and your nails, because your skin is the biggest organ you have on the outside. And it is shouting and screaming and telling you, listen, I am unwell. There is something off with me. Please sort yourself out. It's giving you signals. Your body's always giving you messages. Your body's always giving you signals. I am so glad and thankful that we could do this today. Thank you so much for being here today. I think we've got a lot of insight, but I feel like we still have a lot to talk about. So we will definitely be doing a episode again with you. I feel like you're such an inspiration to me, and I'm sure you're going to be such an inspiration to everyone else who's going to be listening to this. Thank you so much for sharing your lovely light and your intelligence and all of this with us, and your energy with me. Thanks.
Thanks, Pooja.